What's up, friends? Hope you're doing well. I'm pretty sure that you are at least a little bit excited when you saw the title of the video, Kaspa, no more selling pressure. And that is exactly what I want to show you today. And also I want to show you something more. I want to show you some general important market updates that could also end up being very positive for Kaspa. So let's have a look into this. First of all, let's start with the title, No More Selling Pressure, because what we can see right here is if we are taking a look into the current bottoming formation from Kaspa, then we can see that we are pretty exactly at the same level here. We have dipped a little bit below this. I have taken a look at this, and this is about 2 point something percentages, 2.2 percentages lower than here, the lows. And what you can see is that if we are taking a look into the RSI, then you can see that we are forming here higher lows, while here basically we are always touching the same level. You can make the argument right now, okay, this is 2% lower, yes, but this bottom, so this one right here to this one right here, if we take a look into this is about 20% higher. So this is indeed a big difference. And what this means is basically the following, that we are always touching the support level right here, but while we are touching the support level, there is less and less selling pressure, which alone, so in general this is a bullish sign, but just this alone is not a sign where we say, okay, the bottom is definitely in, or right now the bottom is confirmed, we are definitely going higher. This is not enough usually, so this is a first bullish sign that we have, but it is indicating that each time we are touching the bottom, there is less and less selling pressure, which makes it more likely that we are not breaking through this support level right here. But we have to consider something very important, and that is that Kaspa is not the market leader, and that is where we are right now going into the major market updates that I have mentioned in the beginning. And that is that in this case, Bitcoin is the market leader. So that means even if we have some bullish signs right here and we are seeing less and less selling pressure when we are retesting this support level, if Bitcoin would drop $10,000 right now, very likely this would not hold and we would go lower. So therefore, we also need to take a look into Bitcoin. And if we are taking a look into Bitcoin, if you have seen my last updates, then you're saying, okay, but here it's pretty exactly the same. You know, the 112K level, that is the level where I'm looking at. And I'm always saying if we are above the 112K level, this is bullish for the market. Then altcoins have a higher likelihood, are more bullish and having a higher likelihood of, for example, breaking a resistance level, or that they are stopping at support. But you can see that Bitcoin right now is below the 112K level. So this would give us the assumption that the general market is not bullish. And this is true, but it's not bullish yet. And the thing that is the major update here is that Bitcoin may be the leader of the crypto market, but Bitcoin is also following another leader. And the other leader is the stock market. If the stock market is doing well, Bitcoin is also doing well. And if Bitcoin, in this case, is in a certain spot, and in this case the 112K level, then also altcoins have a higher likelihood to perform well. And if we are taking a look into the stock market, you know that a lot of people are taking a look into the Russell 2000, because if the Russell 2000 is breaking out, is having a new all-time high, and is going into price discovery, then very likely altcoins will also do very well. And in some cases we had then an alt season, and that is also why, so the red marked line right here is the old all-time high. You can see we are above this, but there seems to be no alt season, and we are not, it is not 100% clear yet if we have the breakout, because here we are bouncing around. You see we got a little bit above this right here. Let me zoom in. So we got a little bit above this, but just barely held above this, and then we dropped back below this right now. Then we got a little bit back above. So this is basically bouncing around at the all-time high, but it's not really a lot of strength that we are seeing here, and therefore also it is not certain if we are taking a look into the Russell 2000. But of course, the Russell 2000 are the small caps. We can also have a look into the big indexes, like for example, the NASDAQ 100 or the Dow Jones. And in the NASDAQ today, so we have 15 minutes left, it's very likely that today we will close here. This is a new all-time high, and this would be the highest weekly candle close that we have in the NASDAQ. Same thing is true for the Dow Jones. So we have recovered very fast after this massive drop that has also led to the biggest liquidation event in the crypto market. And if we are putting the pieces together right now, then in our chain, you have to know that there is also something above the NASDAQ and the Russell and Bitcoin. There is always something above that is leading the way, but we want to take a look into the stock market as our first major leader. And here in the big stock market, in the NASDAQ, in the Dow Jones, we can see new all-time highs. Therefore, it would be likely that we are also seeing something similar in the Russell 2000 in the near future. And then it is also likely that Bitcoin will follow this lead and that we are also breaking the 112K level in the near future. And if then Bitcoin is above the 112K level, this is bullish for altcoins, and this is then also bullish for Kaspa, and this would give us a lot of confirmation that the bottom is in. And this is not just a signal that is bullish, but also the general market needs to be bullish for this signal to be counted. And that is why right now I have shifted my likelihood to the higher possible scenario that the bottom is in right here in Kaspa, and that we will actually see this follow through in the market, because the stock market has closed. Or I won't be too quick, we have 13 minutes left, so if this will change, then also the video will change. So the whole analysis will change, but I don't assume that this is the case. So therefore, I'm pretty sure that this will close here, and therefore then we would have the first confirmation. Therefore, I would give it the higher likelihood that the bottom is in right here. Currently about 60%. You may say, okay, this is not the highest likelihood, and that is true, because currently we just have the confirmation in the stock market, and we don't have it in the Russell, we don't have it in Bitcoin. Of course, as soon as Bitcoin is going above the 112K level, as soon as the Russell is also breaking above the recent high, then we even have more confirmation. So we always have to play the likelihoods. It can be that tomorrow we will be crashing completely again, but at this point we have to ask ourselves, okay, is that the most likely scenario? And for me, that has right now shifted. That's why I'm saying 60%. This will increase as soon as we have the other confirmations. And you know that in case any of this is happening, so if we have other confirmations, also if we are breaking back to the downside, if something should change back to the bearish state, then I will upload a new video. So make sure to subscribe to this channel so you won't miss this. And also feel free to post it down in the comments. What is your opinion about Kaspa and the general market? That's it for this video. See you in the next one. Bye bye.